Okay, so
Yeah.
segment intending.
Right.
You've been looking into this. You've been reading about this.
A lot of Abraham Hicks lately, yeah.
And you're really wanting to kind of
Yeah.
take the reins of
Yeah.
your well-being and your experience.
Yeah, that's it. It's about like really choosing how you want to experience life, not just
Yeah.
kind of reacting to whatever comes your way.
And one of the interests...
And it's a lot simpler than it sounds.
Yeah. Things that I read in your notes
Right.
was this idea of
Yeah.
momentum.
Right.
And how, like, working for someone else can sometimes actually be easier than working for yourself because their momentum already exists.
It's so true because you're tapping into an existing energy flow, whether it's the company culture or team dynamics or even just clear goals. You know, it's already in motion.
So how does this segment intending thing play into that? Like, give me the quick lowdown on...
Okay, so it's kind of like...
What is segment intending?
Choosing the flavor of energy that you want for specific parts of your day or activities.
Okay.
You know, instead of just letting it happen to you.
Okay.
You're actually consciously influencing it.
I think I'm getting it, but for someone who has never heard of this before...
Yeah. What do we even mean when we say, like...
What are we talking about when we say...
Our energy. What is that?
Energy.
Yeah, well, every thought, every feeling has a vibration, right? And like attracts... Like,
okay.
So if you walk into a meeting feeling stressed...
Right.
Chances are you're going to attract more of that same energy.
Yeah.
But if you can shift your thoughts to a more positive place, even just a little bit, it changes the whole dynamic.
So it's not about...
You're not controlling other people.
Right.
You're just choosing what you experience.
Yeah. So it's not like magically erasing all the problems, but it's about changing how you respond to them.
Exactly.
It's about how you show up.
Yes. And that's something we actually have control over.
Okay.
You know, we can't always control what happens to us, but we can always control how we choose to respond. And this reminds me of one of the stories that you had highlighted where Esther sets an intention for a smooth and enjoyable flight.
Yes.
Even though there was a delay.
Right.
She still had a good time.
She was able to navigate it with grace.
Yeah.
And even made some new friends along the way.
Yes.
So it's not about controlling the external circumstances, but about curating our inner experience to be a match for what we want to experience.
Okay, so that makes sense. But I think where I get tripped up, and where I'm sure a lot of people listening get tripped up, is when you're feeling stuck.
Yeah.
You mentioned wanting to explore this idea of using segment, intending to like get unstuck from a rut.
Right, because when we're feeling stuck, our energy is often so focused on what's not working that we forget to focus on what we want to create. Well, and it's also like you feel like you're surrounded by evidence that things aren't working.
Yeah, and it's hard to see beyond that.
Right.
But even just creating a little bit of space for new possibilities can make a huge difference.
Okay, and so what would that look like? Let's say someone's feeling stuck in their career.
So instead of dwelling on, you know, I hate my job.
Right.
They might spend a few minutes each day vividly visualizing themselves doing work that they love.
Okay.
And I mean, really feeling it.
Okay.
The satisfaction, the engagement, the joy.
So not just thinking about it, but like really embodying it.
Exactly. Embody it as if it's already happening.
And that reminds me of what Abraham Hicks was saying about daydreaming being so important.
Oh, absolutely. Because it allows us to tap into that pure positive feeling of our desires.
Yeah.
Without judgment or limitations.
It's like giving your mind permission to go there without
overthinking it.
Yeah, without shooting it down.
Just pure positive possibility.
Okay, so let's say someone's doing that.
Okay.
They're visualizing.
Yeah.
They're feeling the feelings.
Okay.
But like nothing's happening.
Right.
And the doubt starts to creep in.
That's a common pitfall.
Okay.
Because we start trying to control the how.
Right.
Instead of trusting the process.
So it's about setting the intention.
Yeah.
And then releasing the need to control.
Ordering a delicious meal.
Yeah.
And then rushing into the kitchen to micromanage the chef.
Right.
You know, just trust that they know what they're doing.
Okay, so you're telling me to trust...
Trust the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because the universe has a way of working things out.
Well, and that reminds me of that story about the waitress who used segment, intending to transform her experience of, like, the Saturday night dinner.
Right. She wasn't trying to control the customers or force a perfectly calm evening.
Right.
Her intention was simply to focus on the parts of the job she enjoyed.
Okay.
Trusting that those positive feelings would attract a more enjoyable experience.
Okay.
And it worked.
Yeah, because we always have that choice
Yeah.
of how we're going to show up
Always.
in any given moment.
Absolutely.
We can focus on what we don't want,
Yeah.
or we can choose to focus on what we do want.
And that shift in perspective can make all the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've talked about aligning our energy,
Yeah.
but I know you also wanted to touch on this idea of calibrating our energy.
Yes. Calibrating. It's like,
What does that even mean?
well, imagine you're sailing.
Okay.
You set off with the wind at your back,
Right.
but you're going to need to adjust your sails along the way
Okay.
to stay on course.
Just stay on course. Yeah.
Life is the same way, you know?
So even if you have all the best intentions,
Right.
life
That's all that happens.
is going to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to get thrown off course a little bit.
Traffic jams.
Yeah.
Spilled coffee. That stressful meeting.
And so then how do we...
Those things can knock us off course energetically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how do we recalibrate?
Well, one of the most powerful ways
Yeah.
is to simply shift our focus from what's stressing us out to something that feels good,
Okay.
even if it's just for a few moments.
So if you were stuck in traffic,
Yeah,
instead of getting all stressed,
Right.
put on your favorite music.
exactly. Or practice gratitude.
Yeah.
You know, anything
Yeah.
to shift your energy back into a more positive alignment.
Like a reset button
It is like a reset button.
for your emotional state.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good.
And it's a skill.
Yeah.
It takes practice.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Well, and that reminds me of that story that you had mentioned about Esther being stuck
Yeah.
in the Dallas construction.
On that construction zone.
And everybody else was.
Yeah, everybody's zipping by.
Yeah.
And her first thought was like,
Yeah.
what is going on? Why are we just sitting here? Right.
And then she paused.
Yeah.
And she asked herself,
Yeah.
where are we all going in such a hurry?
Like, what's the big rush?
Yeah. And in that moment,
Yeah.
she was able to shift her perspective
Mm.
from frustration to a sense of peace.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how, like,
It's incredible.
such a simple shift
Right.
can completely change
Yeah.
how you're experiencing something.
It highlights the power of choice.
Wow.
You know, even when our external circumstances are less than ideal,
We get to choose.
we always have a choice
Yeah.
in how we experience the world around us.
We are not victims of our circumstances.
We are not.
We are powerful creators
We are powerful creators of our own experience.
of our own
Yeah.
experience.
And that's an amazing thing to remember.
That's a good place to... Yeah.
Stop for now.
Okay, sounds good.
But we're going to come back
All right.
and dig into this a little deeper
Where to come.
in our next part.
All right. And speaking of powerful creators, you had that one story about a woman manifesting a painting.
Oh, yeah, the one with the woman on the bed in the lake?
Yes.
It's like she dreamed it up?
Exactly. And she ended up framing it with a plaque that said, "Daydream," as a reminder of that.
I love that.
It's really remarkable
Yeah, but
how the universe delivers in unexpected ways.
I can already hear people listening being like,
Right.
well, that's great for a painting.
Yeah.
But like, what about the bigger stuff?
Yeah.
Like my career, my relationship.
Right. Like the things that really matter.
Yeah. How do we?
That's a big question a lot of people have.
Yeah, so how do we find that? It's about finding that balance between wanting to take control and make things happen
Mm-hmm.
and also surrendering to something bigger than ourselves.
So how do we know when to do what?
Well, a lot of it comes down to intuition,
Okay.
that gut feeling, that inner knowing.
And sometimes our intuition's telling us to be patient.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best thing we can do is surrender to the timing of our lives,
Even if it doesn't make sense.
even if it doesn't make logical sense.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes things unfold in ways that we could never have planned for.
There's something kind of freeing about that.
There really is.
You know, like,
It's about letting go of the struggle
yeah, just surrendering.
and trusting that the universe has a plan.
But what about when,
Yeah.
you know, things really get real?
Right.
You know, like you're stuck in a rut?
When those curveballs come along
Yeah.
and knock us off course.
Yeah. And how do you segment intending then?
Well, it's easy to feel stuck when we fixate on what's not working.
Mm-hmm.
But even in those moments,
Right.
segment intending can offer a way out.
So, like, how do we shift gears when...
It starts with acknowledging those feelings without judgment.
Okay.
It's okay to feel stuck. It's okay to feel frustrated.
Okay.
Those emotions are valid.
So don't push them away.
Don't resist them.
Okay.
Welcome them in.
Okay.
Because they hold valuable information.
They're trying to tell us something.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're showing us where our energy is out of alignment.
And so we ask, like, okay, what are you trying to tell me?
Yeah, what needs to change?
Okay.
What am I not seeing?
Okay. Let's say we've...
And in those answers,
Oh.
the seeds of transformation are often found.
So I've listened...
We start seeing new possibilities,
Yeah.
new paths that we might have overlooked before.
Okay, so I've listened to my intuition.
Okay.
I know something needs to change,
Yeah.
but I'm frozen. I'm paralyzed. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's where the real magic comes in.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on the enormity of the change,
Uh-huh.
break it down into smaller, more manageable segments.
Okay.
Remember, even a tiny shift in energy
Okay.
can create a ripple effect.
So instead of being like, I need a whole new career,
Right.
I'm going to set the intention for today to be...
Yeah, just a more enjoyable workday.
Okay.
Just one step
Yeah.
in the right direction.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Okay.
And as you experience those small wins, your belief in your ability to create change grows stronger.
And that reminds me of the story about the parking spot.
Oh, yes. Manifesting the parking spot.
At the crowded event.
At the crowded event.
Yeah, it's like she set the intention.
She focused on the feeling of finding that perfect parking spot.
And there it was.
And there it was.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, if we can manifest parking spaces,
Right.
what else is possible?
Exactly.
You're
The
right.
possibilities are truly limitless.
It's almost like we forget.
We do.
Yeah.
We forget how powerful we are.
Yeah.
We get so caught up in the limitations of our physical reality.
That we forget that we're connected to something so much greater.
Yes, we forget that we are creators.
Yeah.
We are not just these physical beings.
Yeah.
We are energy. We are vibration. We are possibility.
So how do we remember that?
By tapping into that power.
Okay.
By remembering that we are not alone in this.
Okay.
That the universe is always conspiring to support us, to
yeah.
guide us, to help us create a life that we love.
And segment intending is a way to do that.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a way to align ourselves with that power.
Okay.
And to direct it towards our desires.
Okay, so we talked about like the wins, but like how do we deal with when it feels like it's not working?
Because it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, because I think that's when people get discouraged.
Absolutely.
And they're like,
It's easy to get discouraged.
this isn't working.
It's important to remember that manifestation is a process.
Okay.
It's not an overnight event.
Okay.
It's like planting a garden. You don't expect to see blooms the day after you plant the seeds.
So we're planting seeds.
We are.
And we have to tend to them.
We have to nurture them.
Okay.
We have to trust that even though we can't see it,
Okay.
there's growth happening beneath the surface.
And that just because we're not seeing the results yet
Exactly.
doesn't mean it's not working.
Just because you don't see the sprouts yet doesn't mean those seeds aren't germinating.
I like that.
Yeah.
The seeds are germinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So be patient with yourself.
Okay.
Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
And trust the process.
So finding that balance between action and trust.
It's that dance
Then
between effort and allowing action and trust.
I like that.
It's in that space that the magic happens.
Okay, so speaking of magic. Okay.
You had that story about Esther on the walk,
Oh, yeah.
and she was saying she wanted to enjoy nature,
Right. She set an intention.
and she wanted to connect with the critters.
To connect with the critters, yeah. She even mentioned butterflies.
Butterflies, birds, babies, and strollers.
And it's not that she was trying to control
No.
what she saw.
It wasn't about forcing anything.
Right.
It was about cultivating a sense of openness and appreciation
Yeah.
for whatever the universe might bring her way.
And she noticed everything.
She did.
Like the scent of the ocean.
The colors of the flowers.
The squirrels.
Yeah.
The owl.
That magical encounter with the owl.
It's like the universe was like...
It's like the universe was orchestrating this beautiful experience just for her.
Just because she was open.
Because she was aligned with that energy.
It's amazing.
It's a beautiful example of how our energy influences our experiences.
So what about when we're feeling disconnected?
Right.
Like we've lost our way.
Yeah.
Like the story about the woman who was feeling...
Overwhelmed by life.
Yeah, and couldn't find time for her passions.
Yeah. She lost sight of what truly lit her up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
It's easy to get so caught up in the busyness of life
Yeah, it's so easy.
that we lose sight of ourselves.
So how do we reconnect?
Well, she started by setting intentions for small acts of self-care.
Okay.
Things like taking a walk in nature,
Uh-huh.
listening to music while cooking,
Okay.
reading a book before bed.
Okay.
Just little moments
Yeah.
to reconnect with herself.
So it doesn't have to be this big, elaborate thing.
It's about finding those little sparks of joy.
Oh.
Those moments that remind us of who we are
Yeah.
and what we're passionate about.
Okay.
Even if it's just for a few minutes each day.
Just those little moments.
Those little moments add up.
They do.
They really do.
Yeah.
And they can make a world of difference.
I like that.
It's about reclaiming our power.
Yeah.
One intentional segment at a time.
Okay.
And remembering that we are the artists of our own lives.
That's a good
Yeah,
that's a good place to
that's a good one.
to stop for now.
Okay,
And
sounds good.
we'll be back.
More to come.
Yeah. It's incredible how like these small little shifts in our energy and our perspective
Right.
can really impact our experience.
Yeah, it's like those tiny hinges that swing big doors.
Yeah. I like that.
It makes you wonder, like, if she did, and it worked,
Yeah.
because she shifted her energy from the problem to the solution.
It's so easy to get caught up in like
And
what's
maybe-
not working.
Yeah, we get so focused on the lack
Yeah.
that we forget to focus on what we want to create.
But let's be real.
Right.
There are those times when,
Life happens.
yeah, you hit those roadblocks
Yeah.
and you're like,
Absolutely.
this isn't working.
Yeah. And those doubts creep in.
And how do we deal with those moments?
Well, first we acknowledge them.
Okay.
We don't judge them. We don't push them away.
Okay.
Because doubt is a normal part of the human experience.
So it's okay to have doubts.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's what we do with those doubts that makes all the difference.
Okay, so then how do we use those doubts?
Instead of letting them derail us, we can use them as opportunities for growth.
So like a stepping stone instead of stumbling block.
Exactly.
Okay.
We can ask ourselves, what can I learn from this?
Okay.
Is there anything I need to adjust in my approach, my energy, my intention?
Maybe I'm trying to force something that's not meant to be.
Or maybe we've become attached to a specific outcome
Yeah.
instead of surrendering to the bigger plan.
Because what if the universe has other plans?
What if?
Yeah, maybe there's something better.
What if the universe has something even better in store for us
Well,
than we could have ever imagined?
So it's about trusting
Like-
that those detours are
Right.
leading us where we need to be.
Yeah, it's about trusting that the universe has our back.
And it's about finding that balance again.
It is.
You know,
Yeah,
between the effort
between effort and allowing,
and the allowing.
action and trust.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful dance.
So this has been great.
It has.
This has been really eye-opening.
It's been fun.
What's the one thing you want people to take away from?
Just this deep dive.
You are not alone.
Okay.
The universe is always conspiring to support you,
Okay.
to guide you,
Yeah.
to help you create a life filled with joy,
Right.
abundance, love all the good stuff,
Trust the process.
trust the process,
Surrender.
surrender,
Believe in your dreams.
believe in your dreams.
Okay.
You got this.
I love it.
All right,
Well,
Kwong,
thank you so much for joining us
Thank you for having me.
for this deep dive.
Yeah, this was fun.
This was great. And to everyone listening,
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
absolutely.
Remember, you are more powerful than you realize.
You are.
Trust yourself,
Yes.
trust the process,
Trust the process.
and happy manifesting.
Happy manifesting.